Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren and I'm Michelle, and we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same, because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hi there, and welcome back to Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. It's me, your host, Lauren, being joined by my co-host, Michelle.
Hey.
Howdy doody.
Hey, howdy doody.
How's it going?
Did you ever watch him when you were at Grandma's for a sleepover? The Howdy Doody show?
Wait, was he a cowboy? Was he a cowboy?
I think that Howdy Doody there was a Western aspect to him. You know, it's the Howdy Doody show. And I'm
think there might dying to know what this guy looks like. Let me look. Was he a puppet?
Yes. Was he a character?
There we go.
And
Terrifying.
I'm going to have a nightmare. Now I'm scared and I'm stuck in my phone in the corner. All right. Sorry I brought that up. And I did watch that at Grandma's and I wanted to go home.
I'm not into any sort of like ventriloquist.
No, never was.
Puppetry.
Never
no,
was.
It's not my
Move
thing.
your mouth. Move your mouth.
Move your mouth. Okay, you guys.
Move your mouth when you're talking to me.
Welcome back to Cozy. Move your mouth when you're talking to me. I don't know who said it, but it's you shut your face when you're talking to me.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. It was Vince Vaughn.
It's one of my favorite. Yes, from Wedding Crashers or something. One of my favorite lines of all time. Where is he? I loved his movies back in the day.
Skillful, fast talking,
handsome
guy.
Handsome.
And just
okay.
nuts.
All right, you guys. So we've got a great podcast lined up for you. We're talking about Julia Roberts. We're talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking about aging. We're talking about yoga. Michelle baked her first freaking loaf of sourdough bread that she's going to show you. So watch us on YouTube. But before we get into the thick of our podcast episode for today, we have an incredible review. And I want to give this one the proper introduction that it deserves. Lauren. We want to share a review that was submitted by our good, weird internet friend, Laura. And we have spoken to Laura at length on the back end of Instagram. Mm-hmm. And we finally had the honor to meet her in person just last week at our Curaleaf Asking for a Friend Cannabis event. And to finally have met this person who we talked, it's like a pen pal. You know, it's like we met our weird internet pen pal. Mm-hmm. And it was a gift that evening to have met Laura and her sister, Jackie, after all the time that we've spent communicating with her. And we had a blast, and she is lovely. Laura, we adore you. And thank you for the support you've shown the Sister Project.
Truly.
It's just really good to know you now in person. I love when it goes from weird internet to like meeting someone in the flesh.
I mean, I feel like we're going to be hanging out. I mean, Laura was we made a passing joke about needing somebody to help us like with the merch. And she's like, I'll work your merch. And I was like,
she could be maybe our official merch woman.
Well, she wants to come to the next pig gig, which happens to be on February 24th at Peggy Canane's in Arlington Heights. And she's like, girl, I'm working your merch table. I think it'll all be fun. And I said, mouth kisses and candles coming your way.
Absolutely. And even more so because of this wonderful review that she left after we met in person. So Michelle, will you take this?
I would like nothing more than to read this. She says, great duo with 5 stars. These sisters are fun. Finally met them at a function tonight for Curaleaf. I try to figure out why I like them so much. And I realize that I'm so much more cynical than them and tense. And they are getting me to slow down and think. Cannabis will help me with this and listening to them. They are extremely entertaining and very real. What they talk about is how they feel. They're not trying to fit into something. They are being themselves. You need to give them a listen. You won't be disappointed. What? Thank you so much. Laura. She gets us and we get her and we love you, Laura.
Yeah, we sure do. Thank you for this wonderful, wonderful review. I think my special part was they are not trying to fit into something. That one like almost like ejected a tear because it just felt like, like you said.
I tried to fit into some stuff and it didn't. I never fit. So I just
no, it doesn't. You just don't. You just go and you fit in your own fucking space. Mm-hmm. Laura, freaking love you. Give Jackie a hug from us as well. You guys be like Laura. Just be like Laura.
Yeah, be more like
slow
Laura.
Down a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, eat a gummy and listen to the Sister Project and write us a review.
Just one.
Just one. right? Laura,
Right?
how long did that take you? Like 3 minutes? All right. Goddess bless Laura, and Goddess bless all of you listeners out there. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I had one too many dips.
Last night.
Yeah.
What kind of dips were we having?
I made Mom's
her
artichoke mayonnaise and a shitload of fresh grated Parmesan cheese. A delicious snack.
It's a crowd favorite. Easy. Yeah.
There was buffalo. It's like dip city, like buffalo chicken dip. So good. There was 2 kinds of wings that Jeff, our friend Jeff made. He does this like garlic Parmesan one that is really speaks my language.
That sounds delightful.
With like fresh chopped parsley on it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
We had some ribs, pulled pork, potatoes. It was freaking delicious. And now I feel like I need to go to a doctor.
It's the Super Bowl. It's okay. It's everyone's excuse. It's just a one time a year.
Yeah, it's just one time a year, which my son...
It's just one time a year, and then we've got all the holidays, which is just one time a year.
Will was telling me this morning he was like, why is this not a national holiday? I'm like, I feel like it should be.
Like the day after, have a day off of school.
The day after. Mm-hmm.
I feel like other countries who are more normal do things like that.
Like give you a breather after a fun, like national event.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, no one out here. Get up. Get back.
Rise and grind, everyone.
Yep.
Right? Yep. I wanted Lou Malnati's pizza. So we just got Lou Malnati's deep dish pizza. My throat is still...
That's okay.
Still whack. We did Lou Malnati's. I had one of my new favorite IPA. I think it's called Neon Hug by Goose Island.
Yum.
It's so good. All I need is one. With IPAs...
No.
Yeah.
Annihilation Station.
I know.
A fullness that...
Just one. It gives you like a little buzz, So we did that, and then I passed out. But what did you think of I see your notes here, which is funny because I knew that you were going to love that Dunkin' Donuts.
Listener, are you sensing the judgment in her statement?
It's not judgment. It's not judgment. It is okay. It's just easy. It's just, I know it.
Yeah. I didn't get half of the other ones. So
I did enjoy Ben Affleck's sense of humor.
I enjoyed Ben Affleck's sense of humor. I enjoyed all of the Good Will Hunting references that they made. I enjoyed J-Lo and Ben making fun of what the entire media and everybody makes fun of. Right, that he's like miserable. Yeah, and totally Ms. And I love that she was like, Matt, you can stay behind. Not about Matt. It was about Tom Brady. It was Tom Brady. You was it Tom? Behind. Okay, yeah. Well, whoever, it was hilarious because it wasn't to show Ben.
How close you paid attention.
You know what? I'm going to start pointing out all of the details that you miss because
please do.
I'm going to.
I need them to be fixed.
I'm going to.
What was I going to say? I loved Michael Cera.
I didn't see it. Was that on very early on?
I think it was in the first half.
Yeah, yes. I did not see it. Why did you love it?
Because, so it was for the CeraVe skincare line, which dermatologists, my dermatologist is like, that's just the best. It's the easiest. It's the best for your skin. Like, that's what we should be using.
And I went ahead and I checked it in my new Yucca app. I scanned it and it's just straight up toxic.
Oh, they're not talking about that at all. They're not looking for what's clean. No. They're just saying that's just what they always recommend. But CeraVe or Purpose. Remember Purpose?
Yes.
Soap that our
really
sister
tightened me up.
Like, talk about the Sahara Desert. A moment
what was
after.
That?
If you guys hear a wild little banshee, that's my sweet baby
just hollering.
She's just hooting and hollering. I don't know that kind of. Yeah, I'm not into that either, Michelle. But back to the commercial. Michael Cera basically wants to be like the spokesperson for CeraVe commercial.
Does it have to do with his name?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the point. At the end, he's standing in front of like a boardroom. He's like, get it? My last name's Sarah.
I love it. That I'm going to YouTube
and
it.
He is just such like a funny looking little fellow, but he's so adorable. He's like a Tom Hanks to me. Like if I ever find out that he's like a total scumbag asshole, my heart will be a little broken because
he's a sweetie.
That he is a sweetie.
Yep.
Yeah.
What you know what it is? It's his like subtle. It's like his subtle delivery, and like
I want to hang out with him.
Like he doesn't. There's not like a lot of inflection in his voice or something. There's just something about the way he speaks that you can't stop listening, and he's funny.
Like thinking of him, I'm going to for sure watch Superbad this week. Just have it on in the background just to get his vibe.
Now, have you seen? There's a movie coming out with him and who is the comedian that I can't remember her name.
That's okay.
Motherfucker.
So we'll talk about that when we get to it, because I don't know any movie of him coming out. So I don't know. But I did see the preview for Wicked, which I'm really excited about, even though it's a musical. But I love what's going on. And Jeff Goldblum, of course, I guess he's the wizard. Did you see the preview for it?
Nope.
The trailer?
Not see it.
It was good. And I like, is it Ariana Grande? Is that her name? Ariana Grande. I'm kind of excited. I don't know anything that she's in, so I'm looking forward to seeing.
I would totally watch
cast of characters. But it's going to be a musical, and I'm not a musical person. So
they're doing like a movie version of the Broadway
Wicked. Yes,
Wicked.
Correct.
Love it.
Did you see the video of Jeff Goldblum when he was put up on the Jumbotron?
I don't.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Dips. I was eating dips. I think I watched more of the game, which is surprising, than the commercials.
You and I did opposites for the game then, but it was just really cute. Jeff, they posted a video of Leonardo DiCaprio on the Jumbotron, and he has like his hat pulled down. He's not acknowledging that he's on it. But Jeff Goldblum, someone like kind of nudges him, and he puts his glasses down, looks up at the Jumbotron, starts dancing. I mean, he is just adorable. Again, if anyone ever gets the opportunity to see him on stage with his orchestra, go. It is so entertaining. And he's just wonderful. I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes of that show, he accepted gifts. People came up and showcased gifts. Some were handmade, some were whatever. Okay, hold on here.
It sounds like you guys have a ghoul in the house haunting
So she's super used to me going into the room because I get up earliest to go and like fetch her in the morning when she wakes up. So I think when Anthony goes,
she's like, "Where's my mom, bitch?"
He just stands in there and waits until she's a little calmer before he tries to pick her up, because she does that thing where she bashes her head backwards and turns her body into a U shape going backwards. And it's hard to hold that and control that.
It is. It's hard. And you also risk a nose break or a chip tooth or a lip
or like a sprained vertebrae for
Black
the baby.
Eye. I mean, I've seen
mom.
moms. I've been like, back in the day, I was like, "What happened, Judy?" or whoever. And the lady would be like, "Oh, a head bob. We're getting our asses kicked."
Michelle, I'm seeing a note here that said, "Loved her, wanted more." Who is her?
The guitarist, the musician.
Oh, so we're talking. Okay, so sorry. Now we're going back to the halftime show.
And I didn't know who her was. It's hard. I want her to have a different name. But
what is her name?
Her.
Oh, it is her. That's her. Oh, got it.
It's her. This is like a Who's on First segment of the show here, guys.
Yeah.
Her is on first. Her is who? Who's her?
Right. So this now we're talking halftime show. And Usher, I was not really excited for Usher. And
Same.
I feel like these days you can't say I'm not a fan of someone without people getting offended. I'm just not a fan of his music.
I don't know his music except
like
I
when
knew
I sing
one song.
Taylor Swift, if I'm like, oh, I'm not a fan of hers, people take it like personally. And it's nothing more than I know Usher's music more than I know Taylor Swift's, and I'm just not into his music.
I am also not like a listener of his music. At the beginning, I was a little underwhelmed. And then I started to enjoy myself. Some things that I didn't know about Usher. I didn't know that he's like our generation's Michael Jackson.
Yes, that I knew.
He's got the glove. He's got the fast footwork.
Yeah, a lot of fast feet. I was surprised at how fast his feet.
He's a good dancer.
I would say his feet moved so fast. I was like, Anthony, did he just like tap dance and like create like?
He did, and he did. He did. I was not privy to this. I did not know this. His costumes, not my favorite.
No.
As somebody stated last night, the silver number that he had on looked like a Mother of the Bride top.
Like a dress that
was like slouchy on one shoulder.
There's a lot, you know what? Yes. And, yep. I like
Alicia Keys.
I love Alicia. And, she doesn't wear makeup. Did you know that? Like she does, she barely wears.
Clean girl aesthetic.
Just love her. I wish there was more of her too, because I am a big fan of hers. Her piano was so freaking cool. It was like a red patent leather.
It was very futuristic.
It was so cool.
Not me. I want like an old timey piano, but that wouldn't have fit the motif there. They had like kind of a Great Gatsby thing when they started off. I felt like the whole dance number.
There's a lot going on. I felt like it was a little chaotic.
I felt like there were some struggles with the cameras too at first, and that might have been what was causing me to not connect. There were some issues. I felt like we had some jumbles, and then we got it together, and I was like, I was dialed in. Loved Ludacris. Loved him.
I didn't really realize that was him. So as he's walking down, like whatever the stage, I was like, who is that? I'm like, wait, is that? And it was Ludacris. And yeah, he brings some good energy. There was another short little fella.
Yes.
I had no idea who that was. Yeah, he was short. He was very small.
He is. He's smaller.
Who was that though?
Big person.
No, not Ludacris. He's tall. There was a small little fellow who looked like the guy that sang a song that I'm not going to recall right now.
I asked him last night, and I actually don't think anybody knew. I love Ludacris's hair.
It was beautiful, just blowing in the wind, baby.
Dude, he's cool.
He seems like he'd be cool to like hang out with, like
shoot the shit with, maybe throw back a brewski with.
Any other moments of the Super Bowl that you want to reflect on, cover? Were you obsessing over like Taylor being there? Do you care?
As we discussed last night, she would have been on the screen a lot more had the Chiefs delivered in some moments on the field. They super struggled. There was not a lot to celebrate for a while. So there wasn't a lot of hoot and hollering quite yet because we were all cheering on the Chiefs. I was in a room full of Chiefs fans and we were all biting our nails because they honestly could not get it together in the first half. And it was a rough game of football. But as we all know, I found out this morning that they won because I went to bed with 3 minutes
Same. I had no idea who won.
Last night I was in it, but I wasn't, breathing, sleeping, dreaming about it.
Yeah, no.
On to the next thing.
I wasn't really, I kind of fell asleep. I wanted so hard to clean up my vanity last night, but I needed sleep. So also over the weekend, this is random, but I'm looking at our YouTube. Could you see how glossy my eyelids are?
Yeah. Is that Vaseline? What did you put up there? Is that a shadow?
It's a medicated ointment. Because my rash came back.
How? Why? What did you interact with?
Dude, I'm sitting in my bedroom getting ready for my friend Maggie's birthday. And I started to notice that my left eyelid, as we get older, our eyelids naturally become like saggier. They kind of droop.
There's
more,
a hood.
whatever.
They call it a hooded.
I don't like that name. I don't like the name hooded for any body part.
Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't the one that made the name, so you can take that up with whoever that first plastic surgeon is.
As we get older, the saggy hood gets saggier and saggier, and I'm doing my makeup. I'm not getting it done. I'm doing my makeup at my house, preparing for Maggie's birthday. I'm noticing my left eyelid is like extremely droopy.
And that would be alarming.
And I was alarmed, but I had to talk to myself because I was like, maybe I'm just so busy I haven't noticed how badly my eyelids are drooping. So then I'm like, there is that surgery where I can
and it can be covered by insurance
and snip it.
Because this is a danger.
So I got to be able to see. Michelle, that's what was happening. My eyelid was like beginning to get heavy. And I was like, and I kind of was like, you know what? I'm getting older. This is just a natural, course of action. But I still in the back of my head was like, what's going on with my eyelid? But I didn't want to think too much about it.
Yeah.
Then I get to our celebration. I can still feel it. I can feel like now the burning sensation has set in. So now both of my eyelids
of this affliction.
Yes. It kind of gets swelling and then it starts to get burny. And then I woke up the next morning and I realized that now both eyelids were swollen and burning. And I'm not just aging. that's not the, I mean, I am, but you know what I mean? I'm having some sort of allergic reaction. I'm convinced it's some sort of autoimmune situation that was triggered by a dog allergy. And now I come across other things, that trigger the same type of reaction. And, when I went to the dermatologist, they saw what was going on and they're like, okay, so we kind of have an idea of what this is, but it's also like kind of unexplained. I'm like, oh, great. What is it? They're like, well, we call it unexplained eyelid rash. And I was like, are you serious? Like I'm coming in with an unexplained.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when I couldn't have a baby and they were like, we've got a diagnosis, unexplained infertility. I was like,
that's what we've come in for.
Yeah, I know I could have told you that when I walked a year ago when nothing was weird. I was like, what's going on?
When she told me this, I was like, this is so disappointing. Like,
helpful.
I really thought I was going to have answers.
No, so still a mystery.
So I have this amazing medicated ointment that will probably affect me later down the years.
No, because you're not going to use it daily. You're going to use it when you need it. But
I have to stop using it daily because it's.
Does it have cortisone in it?
No, it does not.
Okay.
It doesn't, and it doesn't have a steroid either. So it's pretty mild. And but she told me, I asked her about eye cream. I said, I've been struggling because when this thing flares up, whatever I use, which I use as CeraVe and an M61, no, it doesn't burn, Michelle. It soaks. It's like a sponge. I will put something on my face and it's as if I never put it on. It just sucks it in. And I told her I've been struggling with that, like finding a topical to just at least help with the texture of the skin. And she was like, Aquaphor for everything. We've talked about this. And so what happened? You put on Aquaphor, but then you took it off because you were scared.
I attempted to slug. I put on...
what is that? Slug? Like a slug? Like a slug. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to vomit.
I was covered
Snail trail.
in Aquaphor.
Different
but it was one of my impulsive decisions where I saw one TikTok about slugging and I ran straight to the bathroom and I smeared my face in Aquaphor and I laid back down, started looking at some people who had severe cystic acne as a response to this. Mia came in and was like, what were you thinking? So it was I slugged and then I de-slugged.
Good for, so you only have one moment of experience with it.
Did my face feel like a baby's bottom? You bet your baby's bottom dollar it did.
I bet it did.
Did.
She's like, I use it for my under eye and lip, and of course, like very chapped skin. It is. Yeah. That's what I was specifically asking for. I don't know. A lot of unexplained things.
You know what? I've got a friend that has some weird rash things that occur when we're off mic. I'm going to give you the name and you're going to go talk because some of your breakouts sound similar. And I don't know, maybe just reach out, strengthen numbers and reach out to others that are
community support.
Yes, because it's all about community. It's all about community.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you were walking into Target and you saw a man, I'm not asking, what did you think? Why are you smiling?
I'm just laughing about you making fun of me about the Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Oh, you're going back. Where are we at? 17 minutes? So you're going back at 13?
Yep.
Michelle, I wasn't making fun of you. I knew you were going to like it. That's not making fun.
Loved it.
I knew you would find humor in it. And there was humor. That's your, I like weird, kind of funny, like those kind.
I like direct and obvious.
And exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. Matt Damon looks good, by the way.
Always has.
He doesn't age, dude, that guy. He looks the same.
Guy.
He's kind of cute.
Tom Brady's a little too thin, but let's go back.
Tom Brady, I don't know what it is about that fellow. He needs to
eat some meat. I want to eat some meat. He's got to fill out a little. He's too thin.
He is felt. He's not. Yeah, I don't know. He's interesting. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. There's something kind of odd about him. And not like in a weirdo, he's a creep kind of way. There's something just different about him. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Anywho, no one cares. So this past week, you guys, oh my God, we had our Curaleaf asking for a friend of mine.
Oh my God.
Such a hit. There will be more. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. But if you keep missing them and you're like, oh my God, that looks so fun. I wish, I could have come. Don't worry. We're going to be having more. I just want to give a shout out to some of our friends and loyal listeners who made it. Our friend Laura, who you'll be hearing more from again a little bit later before in the episode. That was her review. Laura was so fun to meet. Our new follower and weird internet friend, Tracy,
Oh,
Meg Shine, and Leah. Leah came. So you guys are really lovely.
Tina,
and then, of course,
you forgot Tina. Was that
Tina is our, yes, we met. We made a new friend, Tina. I was just referring to people. Oh, well, she has listened to our podcast. So again, a shout out to our new friend, our newest friend, Tina.
Good time, Charlie.
The best, she's a good time. The best part about these events that we throw are meeting people who have tuned in, who we talk to on Instagram and have some sort of weird internet friendship with, and then meeting like brand new people. So we had a very good mix of that, I'd say, at our last Curaleaf event.
And wait, I don't want to, there's one more person. Did you say Sarah? Sarah, who drove up from the South Side to stop in?
No, Sarah. Yes.
She was like coming home from work and she's like,
VIP. Or not VIP, MVP. She gets the MVP for this because she wanted to swing by and just say hi.
And she did. And that was so fun. It's so fun to put a face with a name.
Truly it is.
It makes weird internet friend connection, like it fuses it. Like
it totally does.
You're behind a screen and you really are getting to know people, but until you know the person, for me anyway, they're a faceless friend. You know, I knew who Laura Mason was, but I
didn't
truly know who she was
until you saw her face. Like you met her.
Yes. Like, hello, human.
Oh my God.
So that's why we love doing these events and like
Jackie.
Oh my God. Too fun.
Good times. So yeah, you guys don't worry about that. If you are eager to meet us at one of those and talk about cannabis, there are going to be more events. And it was really interesting. So I walked around, we both did, to different tables and talked to different pockets of women who were there. And I loved how analog people still are. So many women with their notebooks taking people came prepared to learn and understand a little bit more about trying cannabis. And I love a good old fashioned note taker.
And let's talk about that for a second, like the setup of this event. So how this goes, guys, is Lauren and I do a little bit of a chit chat, very short. We kind of explain
5 to 10 minutes.
Our story, our why. And then what we do is we break off and we go and meet with everybody and get to talk to everybody
and engage
really
with them.
Get to have these questions. People are coming. There are so many people out there that are like, I want to try cannabis. I don't know where to start. Questions there, and there's no wrong question.
No.
You know, can I drink with this? And to Lauren, I say to the new person experiencing cannabis, no. The answer is don't do it. There's no point.
If you've never done that before, no,
take
don't.
it easy.
What's the point? Yeah,
you know. And so that is kind of how this thing breaks out. And then there's a great gift bag, and then the shuttle to the dispensary is so hysterical. Fun. Yeah. More to come there.
More to come. And then I found that most questions from women or needs or interests in trying cannabis was for sleep. So you guys go to your local Curaleaf dispensary and get snoozeberry or snoozier berries gummies. They have this thing called, there's THC in it, but also CBN, which is known to help kind of enhance your sleep time vibes. And then a lot of people were curious about like more social ways to experience cannabis. And one woman brought up the Laugh gummy. And I think that is a very friendly gummy for a newbie. So go to Curaleaf, get your Laugh gummy. They're about 5 milligrams each, maybe take half to begin with. And you guys don't forget to use our discount code SISTER30 for 30% off your entire purchase, which is a doozy. That's a nice little discount.
Another sleep gummy that I recommend, we were just talking about them last night when I was with my Super Bowl friends, was the wild elderberry. Someone was
never tried
swearing by that for the night time. So,
okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, you guys, moving along. So let's jump into some hot topics for a moment here. So this past week, Julia Roberts made, we're going to call them social media headlines because a reel of hers went viral. And Michelle, I didn't realize this. It's a resurfaced clip. This is not a new moment for Julia Roberts.
This was something her niece shared a while ago, right?
Yes, in 2018. So people who are tuning in, you may have seen the reel. I'm going to link an article that has it. And it's basically just a photo of Julia sitting at a table with I think a board game and coffee and whatnot with her niece, Emma Roberts. And there's a voiceover happening on the reel. And this voiceover was taken from an Oprah Winfrey conversation from 2018. And someone, I think, recreated this into a reel to share it in today's time as a reminder of what it's like to be growing up on social media, what it's like to be aging on social media, and how horrific and cruel people are behind their keyboards. And so Julia goes on to share that she is having a beautiful morning with her niece. And I love that niece-aunt relationship that she shared. And you can see it in the photo, alarming that anyone can see or pick apart anything else. And Julia has that, oh my God, that smile, that Julia Roberts, unmistakable smile. I mean, that no matter, she could be like 115 and it's still the same.
Yeah.
So you see her just enjoying her moment. And then she goes on to share how she, and you probably should never look at the comments, but somehow she became privy to what people were saying and were really just being pretty horrendous about how she looked and saying that she looks like a man. What has happened to her? Why would she post this photo? What's gone on with Julia Roberts? And oh my God. And she said, I'm a 50-year-old woman. And I was surprised to see how badly this has affected me as a 50-year-old woman. Because we think, we get older, we don't care, but we're all changing and we're all human and we have feelings. But she does end it with that she was happy that this happened because she was able to understand a little bit more, because she's a pretty private person. She doesn't post a lot, little snippets of her personal life here and there. She said she was kind of happy that it happened so she can understand more what it's like to be just anybody posting stuff on the internet and risking, some shitty comments from internet trolls. And what's kind of funny, not funny, that she's talking about this on the internet, but I also find this is like real life too. Like this is just conversation, like what people look like, who's aging, who's gotten work done, who's gotten too much work done. And that, you see this on, of course, in comments and then of course, just in person. And it's sad because I don't know. There's so much more to life than how we look.
Yeah. Oh, it's like all we talk about is how people look, but you never anyone saying like, oh wow, they look like they're really on a growth trajectory. Oh my God, that person seems like they're really evolving.
And I'm guilty of this too, right? I'm following Britney Spears these days to see how she's doing. I mean, there's something going on there. She's not doing well.
She's not doing well.
So I am keeping up with certain people and kind of watching from afar, but I wanted to share a story when I was younger. We talk a lot about like young kids, women, of course, young girls feeling what it's like to grow up on social media and these very unrealistic expectations of how we should be looking and how we should be aging and what our bodies should look like. And when I was like 13, when I was 12 or 13, I was on the train to go to Fenwick to go to my high school, and we shared trains. I mean, obviously there were kids from all different schools on the train. And I remember walking alone through a car and some kids started hollering at me about how I looked and were making fun of my nose.
That's happened to me too.
Yeah, and they were making fun of my nose and they were calling me Pinocchio girl. And I was like 12 or 13, right? Fucking kids listen, I'm sorry. I'll say it sometimes like kids are assholes.
Did you say you were on the train going to Fenwick?
Yeah, so I was like 13. Oh, no, I was 13. You're right. I was probably 13. I skipped a grade.
Doogie after MD here. Oh, Jesus.
Just call me Doogie from now on, you guys. And I'll say things like kids are assholes, like jokingly, but not. But you know what? It's just like adults. Some people are just assholes. And that kind of behavior, I think making fun, I don't know. And I know kids can be kids, but to be outwardly mean and to call someone out on their looks and make them feel bad about that to me is something that you see other people doing or talking about, right? I don't know. I just feel like my point in sharing that story, and you guys, I guess the more fucked up part about this story is that hurt me so bad and made me feel ugly and felt like my self-worth was in such the gutter. I went and got a nose job the next year, and I shouldn't have. And I don't regret it, but I was way too young to be letting outside judgments and perspectives on my looks be affecting me that much when I was that old. And I wish And I'm sure someone did. I'm sure people did. I wish that I would have heard, or it landed better, that, you're beautiful inside out. Your face is not, is
your value.
Yeah. I don't know. The message, there was something missing and I felt I was really embarrassed by that. And so I felt like, I had to change the way I looked so I wouldn't be made fun of. And I wanted to spare myself being made fun of and then it continued to get made fun of then because I got a nose job. So kids ripped on me for that. It was never ending.
I mean, Lauren, I remember my story about my braces. The second time I put them on, somebody said, "Oh, that girl with the buck teeth is cute," or whatever. I didn't hear the cute. I just heard the buck teeth. It made me feel like shit. And I'm telling you, next day I was in, Dr. McMillan's office getting, a second set of braces and 9 teeth pulled.
Oh God, 9. Did you really have 9 teeth pulled?
4 wisdom teeth, 4 of these because I had a couple too many. And I had an extra one of these. So they had to yank one of those too. I mean, clearly I probably should have had some, orthodontics and dental stuff done the first time around, but whatever. It still messed with me. But I also was like, I kind of like, seemed like that was what was really the important, and it really fucked. And I walked around feeling like a dumbass and all of these other things when I really should have been focusing on how I felt on the inside. And
where does that get lost in our experience? Why? And that's even before social media. So I can only imagine. As a woman, I know what it's like. What's that? What?
How many conversations I've had with women about Botox, and women have said to me, "Oh, you don't need it yet." No, I don't. Why do
I've always heard that.
Why do
I hear
we
that too.
need it? Where did we get to a point where we feel like we need that? That's like something that we have to do. No, I don't think so. I totally don't think so.
I have my friend, and I don't know why I'm going to just keep this name to myself, but I have a friend who is like, you guys, I'm not doing a single thing. So you are going to see what aging looks like through this. I'm choosing not to touch. She's just like that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I haven't made any decisions on that yet. Listen, 3 days ago, I was ready to start looking up. I was getting eyelid surgery.
Hood surgery. Sorry. I know you don't like that word.
But, I just feel like what happened? How did we get so lost in looks? It's fucked up. And it makes me sad because I worry about all women and young girls, not just young girls, the pressure that us middle-aged women, I feel like some of us get to a point where they are able to just, like when you get like 67, you don't give a fuck. You're like, I'm alive and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the life that I have.
Say it all the time. Just happy to be here.
Right?
Just dang happy to be here.
But I think what's important out of this is that, Julia Roberts shared that back in 2018 and someone had the wits about them to reshare it again as a reminder, like get outside, get off of your phones. Like this is not real life, how people look. And we can see these beautiful photos of women like on the internet, like say like Kim Kardashian, and not to bag on her, but up close and personal, her face is auto-tuned.
She has uneven skin tone.
Right. I think she suffers from psoriasis or something. So we need to, and she does try to talk about that, which I appreciate and whatnot. But like, I think we just have to I wish we could just normalize just getting older and that we're alive. And that's what matters. It's fucked up.
I'll drink to that. I'll drink water to that. Hydrate.
All right. Anyway, so moving on. Last week, I found a great article on the benefits, not the benefits of yoga. It was called Mind-Bending Facts. Article. It was awesome. Mind-Bending Facts about yoga. And it is in the Reader's Digest. I'm a teacher myself. I'm actually very eager to get back to teaching 1 class a week, which I'm excited about making happen. And just this Sunday, I finally took an in-studio class, which I haven't done in so long.
When's the last time you actually took a class? You were teaching before you became a mom, basically.
I take classes at home. I do a lot of in-home yoga, but it's different.
It is.
Yeah, but going to the studio, I felt like I was high on life after I left there. But I found that these were Michelle's a yoga practitioner. You take yoga. How many times a week do you think that you practice?
I try to go at least 3 times a week.
That's great.
Yeah. It depends. If the weather's really nice and I'm always outside, I'll supplement and stuff like that. But I love it. I actually, this article that you shared, I feel like these bullets, you're going to go through the important what to know as it pertains to yoga. I feel like if all yogi studios put boots on the ground and handed a one sheet out of this, they would fill their studios.
I know.
They would fill their studios.
So let's go ahead. And I thought it'd be kind of fun as a yogi professional and practitioner, and then with Michelle, to discuss some of these things. So let's get to know yoga a little bit better. So it's been around for roughly 5,000 years, which is a long ass time for practice to be around. And of course, it originated in India. And the fact that you can practice it just about anywhere is a big reason why it's so popular, and it's more popular ever today than ever. About 55 million Americans regularly hit the mat, and that is nearly 15 million more than the number of people who golf. And I kind of was surprised by that.
That's awesome.
I know, it's really cool. I kind of thought there would be more golfers. Not that I've really ever thought about it, but I kind of figured that there would be. This next point that I found, I had no idea about this. This was super freaking cool. The Hindu monk Swami Vivekananda, I butchered that.
Let's just call him Swami.
Swami is credited with popularizing yoga in the West. He came to the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. I mean, he kind of brought it to Chicago.
Who was influencing?
He was.
He was a yoga influencer.
Yeah, where he gave a groundbreaking speech calling for religious tolerance, prompting a 2-minute standing ovation. And then he went on to write the Raja Yoga, which is published in the United States in 1896, which adopted the Yoga Sutras.
Have you ever read that?
I've read them. I'm not well trained on them. That was not a part of my my training was all physical. It was just a very physical practice. In fact, it lacked a lot of the spiritual and philosophical aspect of yoga that I had to teach myself and learn from others throughout my career and my life. The average American, this is a heads up. The average American yogi spends an estimated $62,000 over a lifetime on yoga classes and accessories. I get it. Yoga classes need to be paid for. The accessories, you don't need much.
You just need
so just keep that in mind.
You
don't need to go spend a lot of money to be a yogi.
Water bottle, something to drink out of. Or if you're Pellegrino, man, you just get that one Pellegrino and you pour it all over yourself in class.
You don't need to be the best fashion. I mean, it is though. I was in yoga class and the people, there's just like perfect yoga outfits. Like I wear like whatever I find and roll in, and there's no judgment, but just know you don't have to do that. So here's some stuff that's very interesting. Now, this is more the benefits of yoga. In addition to reducing stress, which we know stress is a killer in all facets of having too much of it. Yoga can improve posture and balance and strengthen bones and muscles and keep your joints healthy. And that
here
right there.
I'm jacked. Thanks.
Yeah, you are jacked. So
my core is strong.
I don't think, there's so much core implementation when it comes to practicing. What's up?
What I love about yoga, and this is something that as a practitioner and not like a super in-depth studier of this, I go to my yoga work classes and I come home. But, to see that all of these different movements, these different poses, there's a specific benefit, like standing on your head, that improves circulation. I'm in there thinking, I know this means something, but I also think I'm just trying to stand on my head. Like the twists are for detoxifying and stuff like that. I love
so much.
All of those movements have a different purpose that is healing for your body.
Yeah. And for our older listeners, and if you are doing yoga already, you already know the benefits. But if you're interested in it, or if you are of any age, but I do point out the olders because I have taught them. And what we focus on is balancing, because the older we get, we can become, not all of us, but a fall risk. And when the older we get, and if you fall, the more damage can be done. It could be detrimental. So, and that comes with strengthening and whatnot and mindfulness. But balance is such a huge part of longevity and being in a good way the older we get. So I would and just so you know, I've talked to so many people. Just recently had a conversation with someone who was like, I can't find a class that would suit me. I'm just not like a yogi. Well, there's classes for everyone, and you can always reach out to me or your local yoga studio and tell them what you are exactly looking for. For my older ones who are looking for something that's a little bit more comparable to their situation, chair yoga is a great option. It is and for pregnant women, for honestly, for anyone in any case. Yep.
And also it's so important to know that this is this thing that is your own practice. And when you go there, and I've gotten so much better at this as I've just gotten older, you make it your own and you modify and you do the things that work for you and the things that don't work for you, and where you meet yourself where you are every time you get on the mat. And that's like really kind of the name of the game. And so when people say, I'm not good at yoga, I'm not flexible, well, you don't need to be good. It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a mindfulness. And I can't wait to go to my class today.
And if you have a well-experienced teacher, a good teacher, that person's also going to meet you on the mat wherever you are, no matter what kind of class they're going to be teaching. In the class I took yesterday, I could see people struggling, and the teacher in me, I need to remind myself, like, get your head back on your mat and don't worry about what other people are.
ADD blaster there.
It could be hard because I've seen people struggle, and this teacher was offering no modifications. And in a class that diverse with people who can't do, if you see more than one person that's struggling, you have to start showing, here are other options for those that don't like this first option. So find also a teacher that you love. This is one of my favorite. I just want this number to keep going up. Nearly 5 million kids nationwide practice yoga as well, with benefits far beyond just the physical. Yoga can help reduce, anxiety and improve focus, which especially is beneficial for kids with ADHD. And yoga has also been found to help children with autism spectrum disorder better regulate their emotions. I used to teach 2 individuals who were on the spectrum, and it was such a unique experience because these kids were probably like 13 to 16 years old. And it's such a different way to have to teach, a human being, because they just see the world differently. So, but you can see the benefits in them really focusing. We would kind of like zero in on things. But one of my favorite things that we would do is that the families would join. Because it was a really lovely family activity and it got all of them in the room together. So I thought it also can benefit not just the individual, but the family and the household as a whole.
I love that. I love that.
And do you know if your kids, is there yoga or offered or anything like that?
Absolutely. There is yoga being offered at my kids' high school. They've got access to a yoga club. I think in their upperclassmen years, they have access to choose like a less traditional sports, fitness, physical ed, and they could choose more of a yoga mindfulness plane to practice in. Oh yeah, no, I mean, it's totally there. And they also told me that in one of their periods where they do like their check-in, I'm sure like there's somebody on the ding, 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 Rydell High School doing like a loudspeaker check-in. I believe there's like a social emotional portion of their day where they are practicing, whether it's gratitude or mindfulness or something. Yes. So it's there.
Yeah. And this kind of goes back to the conversation that we were having about Julia Roberts. And I do believe that if we were to implement more things like that at an earlier age to children and have them realize what really kind of matters, that these expectations and these views on looks, an individual can be more susceptible to or not more susceptible. They would have an easier time diminishing the impact that we put on looks. Yep. If kids and adults are taught this kind of stuff.
Starts at home.
And it starts home with that person. Yes, exactly. But it also, I think, it's in school too, as well. Then the last thing is corpse pose, which we know is Shavasana. So this is the last posture that you typically will experience in a yoga class. You're laying on your back. And some people are so good at it. Some people, and I mean good because they can, I don't mean like talented. I just mean that they can actually lay and be still and let their body and mind reap those benefits of yoga. You'll see people get real fidgety because it's very difficult.
I have to full blown meditate
Yes,
in order.
that would be a wonderful thing to do during that time.
Because otherwise I'm wiping my sweat, pulling hair out of my mouth. It's fidgety,
getting a little
over
distracted.
Here.
Well, at least I do love that you are sticking around for it. I'll always be perplexed, unless of course it is a time thing, but people who don't have time, they don't realize that even though you're not working out in this position, how important this last position really is. It's the conclusion of your experience.
And it like full circles the moment. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's sometimes my favorite position if I have someone in there that really put us through the ringer, holding the pose for just an extra. And one more breath, I'm like, and I'm going to give you one of these right back at you. I just want to say I always have buddy passes if any local wants to come with me.
Oh, how wonderful.
I'm happy to bring
you guys,
bring friends.
Take Michelle up on that offer. Get in a yoga class. Okay, cool. I was excited to share that because I thought those were some really interesting facts. I didn't know a couple of them, especially about the Chicago World's Fair and Swami.
Yeah,
so thanks to Swami.
Yeah, thanks, Swami.
Thank you, Swami, for bringing that to the States, especially to Chicago. Tomorrow's Punchki Day, and I don't have an order, and I'm so annoyed.
No, you have to put that order in so I can take care of your little task for you.
I know, you guys. In Chicago, we have this thing called Punchki Days. It's basically like jelly-filled donuts, and it's my favorite day of the year. It was our mom's favorite day, too. She loved it. She was always bringing us home.
She always brought him home. And when she was in the throes of her dementia, I will never forget with fondness, one of the moments where I was like, you know what, I'm going to just lean into this and we're just going to go with it. And we were walking through Jewel, the local grocery store, and she saw the punchkis and she yelled punchki about 25 times as we walked through the aisles. And so I just yelled punchki after every punchki she yelled, and we pissed our pants. She didn't. I got weird looks.
That's okay.
Looks, smiley looks. And I said, F it and F dementia. At least we're going to get to have a punchki today.
And as someone, as two people who've gone through it with their family member, that's when it's a good idea to have cards made. So that if someone does, and you just yell punchki back and you give them a card and they read a card that says like, hey, my loved one has dementia. She might say or do things that are not like the average person. Please have some compassion. And people do that. It's a wonderful way to go about the situation.
It is. I'm going to make an alternate card though, too, for the Rudies that I don't like the way they're looking at me. It's going to say, she has dementia. And then you're going to flip it over and it's going to say, so go eat a bag of dicks.
I know you're going to have two different options. Would you have had two different options?
Person, if someone gives me like a nice smile, then they're going to get. But if they're like a person, like a real live, like internet troll
so many
in
of
my
those.
space, that's going to be a rude asshole. You're getting the bag of dicks card.
Well,
there you go.
Got to say, thank goodness we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Silver lining.
She's dead.
You're having a death note.
All right, you guys, we'll do a lightning round of what are we reading, watching, and listening to. I got nothing. Last week was so busy with work, and then I was coming off of being sick. So I'm here to report that I did not really read, watch, or listen anything. Michelle, what about you?
I keep reading. I keep reading in the evenings, in the morning. If I can follow it, just stay with me. But I did watch randomly. I said, you know what? I'm going to press play on Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Keanu Reeves, and Amanda Peet. And I was roaring. For folks that have never seen this movie, it's about a guy who's like a swinging single bachelor in his older years, and he accidentally falls in love with Diane Keaton, who's the mom to the young lady he was dating. And it's this just like whole kind of coming of age, like showing what like life looks like, what people are going through in their older years, dating, like finding love. The scene where she's walking from her office, she's going to take a shower and she's getting naked. And he walks in and he sees her. He's acting like he's stroking out. She's covering her boobs. It's a
great movie. And I love that people there's like this thing on TikTok that's called like the Nancy Meyer's aesthetic. Because the homes, Nancy Meyer has a very specific aesthetic.
Like Martha Stewart, everything.
Kind of, right? And it's just, I love that that's like a TikTok theme now, like Nancy Meyer's core. And then I see that you're listening to more Mel Robbins.
Yes, this is a podcast episode that I really recommend everybody listen to. The title is The 51% Rule with Stephen Bartlett, who is the author of Diary of a CEO. And I didn't know who this gentleman
I don't
was,
either.
but he is like an entrepreneurial master. He's on boards around the world. He's really just like got an incredible mind, but his story is what blew me away. He grew up extremely poor and spent the majority of his childhood pretending like he wasn't. But in his mind, he always knew that even though society and the world was telling him that this is what life was going to be like for him, he knew innately that there was more for him. And he
so chose his mindset.
It is mindset. Another example. And he chose to question everything. And he talks about decisions and how important decisions are and the different kinds of decisions. I really connected to this conversation. And I just think if you're scrolling through Mel Robbins and trying to find a good one, this is a really, really good one to listen to.
What's the 51% rule?
The 51% rule is about when you're making a decision, you have to be at least 51% sure before you make that decision. But he talks in depth about the different kind of decisions, the different types, the ways to approach them. No decision, that's a decision. That's not a good decision.
I love that.
And those are the kind of nuggets. But really, it was a good one.
You guys, I will link this episode of Mel Robbins in our show notes so that you have them at your ready. All right. Good amount of ground covered here.
Really?
Michelle, what are you doing for your cozy mindful well-being?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, is this your sourdough? Let's see. You baked it.
I made a second one. And
oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Nailed
that little flip at the top. Is there a specific name for that beautiful flip at the top?
Well,
it's like a wave.
You score it.
Wait, were you going to do some ASMR? That's a sourdough. So this is I've ever heard one.
This is my second loaf. This was my second attempt. My sister Andrea and I have been on the phone a ton, and she has kind of walked me through some things. And basically, what I've learned is to take notes and log kind of the details of my environment, temperature. If I'm doing a proof, I'm naming things, guys, that you're not going to know. I just learned these things a couple of days ago. But proofing in a refrigerator, besides proofing on your counter.
And proofing is when you just let the dough do its thing, like rise?
Yes, it's like fermenting.
Okay.
Yes,
you got to do that with those Trader Joe's croissants. You got to proof them overnight.
Exactly. But my first dough was... It was fine. It was kind of dense. It felt heavy. This one, I scored it properly. It feels light and airy, and I can't wait to cut it open and
that looks so. Oh, I saw Andrea. Actually, our sister Andrea posted the perfect way to cut a loaf of sourdough bread is to cut it down the middle. So cut it in half, and then you put that flat side down of that half side, and then you just begin cutting pieces of the sourdough.
Didn't know that.
Michelle, congratulations. That is you did that from the very beginning.
You guys, I did do that. And I was telling Ryan this and the kids, this process, so simple and complicated and time consuming. It is such a lesson in patience. It's a lesson in consistency, committing to a craft, showing up every day, being curious, talking to other people. And the result, Lauren and I always say this, it's in the simple things. It doesn't get much simpler than this. And this was really rewarding and really fun to do.
Did you see the meme that I posted about you yesterday?
I pissed my pants. I showed it to Ryan.
It's a meme. It's like a very short video of Little House on the Prairie. They're like on their what do you call it, like a buggy?
Yeah, they're hooded wagon.
They're hooded wagon. That's the name of hooded wagon.
It's not a hooded wagon, though. It's a covered wagon.
Covered wagon, whatever. Yeah, weird. Anyways, so it's basically, it says like when you bake your first loaf of bread from scratch, and I put like, oh, hey, Michelle, because that is you.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, speaking of this, kind of goes along with what you're going. This is what I've been doing every day. 2 weeks ago. So I'm back on TikTok. My algorithm has been fixed. There's no more like World War III, the world's ending TikTok. So I needed that to stop so I can get back into the thick of my good stuff that I get from TikTok, because my algorithm's legit. And so I follow a lot of philosophical and psychologists. And this guy 2 weeks ago said something, and I'm like, I'd never really done this before. So I started to implement every day waking up. And the first thing you do, I've always done a mini gratitude list. I wake up, and as I'm like groggy getting up, I like name some things I'm grateful for. But then I added on that today is going to be amazing and incredible things are going to happen. And you know what happens are these little sparks of fucking awesome things take place. And I'm like, I think like now that I put it out there, like I notice how, even if it's something little, how awesome things are when they come about.
Well, your law of attraction.
Law of attraction. And like the other day, last week, a lot of wonderful things happened. Like just big like news, just stuff with work and personal stuff. And it just feels, and even for Anthony, it just feels like it's like if you say it, you believe it, it'll happen, right? It's like, And and to go along, the same guy talks about how every day are just moments made up of a day. A day is made up of just moments. And every day you can have your schedule, but like every moment changes. You don't know what's going to happen, and you have to go along with it. And you find less disappointment when shit happens. So I found like these two concepts of waking up with this like notion that it's going to be an incredible day. And then also like, you got to go with the flow. Both of those match really beautifully together.
Wow.
And it helps because I can wake up, I can get easily, exactly. And I have found that those have been really helpful. So I encourage everyone, wake up tomorrow and go, today is going to be amazing. Incredible things are going to happen. It sounds cheesy, but it's so it works. And it's not like you're like,
sound cheesy.
It's just a good way to get the brain going. And the whole thing, Michelle, is that your brain believes what you tell it.
100%.
That's all that this is literally about.
Literally, we are talking about this with my kids. Like I've added a new, I always have said that sleep is the foundation of good health. Well, so is your fucking mindset. I've added that one to the toolbox because I'm like, guys,
you can get as much sleep as possible and still have a shitty mindset.
You wake up, you can, 8 hours, wake up with a bad attitude. Well, have a good one. Have a good one.
Tell them this one. I'm going to put this. I almost want to get it made and have it put in Luna's room.
Yeah.
So that becomes like kind of a mantra in our household. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. All right, you guys. So we're going to just set you off. Go sign up for some yoga. What else? Buy some CeraVe or don't. It's nice and dirty. Don't do that. It's not clean. Gross. All right, you guys. Michelle's going to send you off on your way.
Stay cozy, friends.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.